So today is actually the 90th day. Today's June 20th. This is the Monterey County Homeless Union, and we're here at the steps of City Hall. And we're here to talk about, it's been 90 days since the first day of the sweeps, which was March 23. That very morning, Dorothy's Place Representative Director Jill Allen made a commitment in front of the crowd and press, everybody else, that they were willing to commit to making 200 placements within 90 days through the HMIS database system that they have going. Well, now it's been 90 days, and one paper says 17 people have been housed or placed, and another paper says 6. Either way, that's less than 10%. So that's an abysmal failure on the part of the service providers, the city, and the county as far as collaborating to make any of this happen. So I wanted to pass it along, get a few thoughts about some other people here that are willing to support us. And right now we got Maxwell Green from Santa Cruz and HUFF, which is the
Homeless United Foundation for Friendship, one of the co-organizers of the Freedom Sleepers in Santa Cruz. And we stand behind what you guys are all doing in the union here in Santa Cruz, because this is an empty promise, a failure driven by arrogance and just sheer contempt for the people of Salinas.
Okay, thanks, Max, and thank you, HUFF, for being so supportive. Also, Brent Adams, who does a what is that called? He does the
Sanctuary.
Yeah, he does a sanctuary camp, and he's pretty active in Santa Cruz. And Jessica, would you like to say anything?
I'm okay.
Okay. And somebody else want to talk? Janet, you want to talk? Go ahead.
Well, the Monterey County has a whole bunch of grants and money for the homeless. Why don't all these supervisors, all these people in charge, get off their butts and make sure the homeless get some money so we can get them off the streets and keep the promise? I don't want to hear people homeless come and ask me what is going to be done for us to get a home. We're trying our best, but the thing is, the county's not doing what they promised in the time they promised.
LeVonne, did you want to say anything? Just think about it. Mr. Mayor Candidate, would you like to say something?
I'll say something. Take the second. Well, you know, it's been 90 days. City promised us that there will be housing 200 people. That didn't happen. Frankly, I'm not surprised. City has spent $2.1 million of our money to solve the homeless problem, but they're nowhere closer to finding the solution than they did before the money was spent. The pattern is similar in a lot of different areas. We gave the city $22 million in the new sales tax increase. They said they'll help make the community safer. We enjoy a record-breaking murder rate, and number of police officers is down compared to 2 years ago. What we really need to do is to fix the homeless problem by providing the right kind of service to the people who need it. City of Salinas, look around you. From Salt Lake City to Ithaca to Spokane, hundreds of cities have solved the homeless problems. Why don't we look at what has worked for other cities, bring the best practices back to Salinas, and figure out how we can actually solve the homeless problem. Thank you.
Silas, you got something still?
Yes, I would.
Go ahead and talk into this, please.
My name is William Silas. I'm
this way. Come on, that way you're in the shot.
I am a member of the homeless community of the city of Salinas. Have been for the last almost year and a half. I'm currently also an advocate for the homeless. Simply put, more important than that, I am in good spirit. I'm in good, proud, dignified spirit about this. We're at war, true enough. Well, we're fighting, and we believe in what it is we're doing. The most important thing that I can say to the general public, and I say the general public because we need your support, is that we need your support. A substantial percentage of the general public knows what's going on here with respect to this ordinance, but there's a lot of people who don't know what's happening. we appeal to the general public to come down and talk to us. Chinatown's no different than anywhere else. Nobody's gonna kill anybody, rob anybody. Come down and find out how they're treating us. I filed the original petition with respect to how we're being affected by this ordinance several months ago at the outset of these things. I mentioned that we're going to be affected, that our public safety was going to be affected. Not only that, our personal welfare and everything else that the city of Salinas turned around the words around, said that this is what the homeless is going to constitute. This is the problems that they're going to cause. This is how we're going to be affected in these areas. They turn the whole thing around. It's like we getting up here just talking about a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. These homeless people want a handout or something like that. That ain't what we're about. We're proud, dignified people trying to get other people to understand what's going on with us and how we're being treated. There's warfare going on. In the city of Santa Cruz, the city of San Jose in particular, even as we speak, are at war. There are things happening, beyond what's happening here, but why not? It's going to happen eventually. They're taking all types of just low steps to try to undermine the importance of what it is we're doing, is that we live in our feces down here. We're surrounded by rats and stuff like that. We took a stand against this. We invited the mayor and everybody else who said something like this here during city council meetings to come down and take a look at this, Okay, where are the rats? Where are the people living in feces? They wouldn't do it. We extended every opportunity, every invitation whatsoever with respect to what the ordinance was saying, the threat that we posed, to come down and see whether or not that was factual. No one came. To this day, no one came. So we're appealing to the general public. We're appealing to this substantial number of people in the city of Salinas to come down and stand up with us. There's only just a few of us out here right now. We need help. But there are countless numbers of people who are being affected by what we're being affected by. You don't even see them, but we are. So we want you to come down and talk to us. I don't mean to sound all, it's upsetting in some respects, but it's got to be there. It's got to be done. We ask you to come down and talk to us. Myself, everybody down here, beyond these people here down in Chinatown, ask them what they think and what they feel.
Why don't we just set up some showers down there, some tents, and actually, we got tents. Why don't they just set it up? They go in there and they sweep all these people out. I see them all over town here, right? One on every corner. Well, we could just go down there and get Bart Walker to put up some showers, put up a few tents, right? I mean, we're not even fixing our sidewalks in front of City Hall here either, right? We got our convention center sitting down there, rented out, empty all the time. Set up some showers and some bathrooms for these folks, right? And I give money to every time I see somebody asking for a little. So I don't understand why we can't put up some showers and tents and just let those people live down there and keep out everybody else's front yard, right? You guys don't want to be there anyways, right?
Nope.
Showers and bathrooms and tents. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Simple.
There you go.
Thank you very much, sir.
There you go. That's there.
Simply asking for
Yeah.
some kind of
Thank you.
accommodation. We don't want to be just a bunch of people just go out of Chinatown because you have some business in it. Give us some kind of reasonable accommodation. Don't feel like we're human degradation.
Okay.
I know all the city council members.
Wow.
They're lazy.
Thank you, my
So
man.
he says
Thank you very much.
10,000 toilets over at Laguna Seca because what they pay for it, right?
They're sitting there empty though, but they can bring them over here too.
Come on.
Sitting empty, but they can bring it over. You're
Come
right.
on.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
I appreciate that. Talking about the tent thing. Today's the first day of summer. From here on, the days will progressively get less and less daylight hours. Now, we've given plenty of time to see how the service providers and all the money that the city has spent and paid for the people in the business of giving in the business or in the business of helping the homeless people, but that still will not help and has not helped to deter any of the numbers. Now, from the beginning of that pledge to try to get 200 people off the street, we've been in protest having a tent handout with blankets and camaraderie to provide a safe and clean and decent place for homeless people to stay, and we've been doing it in the form of a protest right here at City Hall. We desperately are in need of more tents. We need some food occasionally and some support from the general public. A porta potty would be great. There's many things that we can need, but the homeless union is facilitating this camp down here. And if the general public would be so kind as to help, I think we can alleviate a lot of stress and grief from the homeless population.
That's right. That's right.
To wait is futile. To continue to spend on venues that cannot help, and it's not permanent housing is too far off in the distance. Although a tent situation is not ultimate of what we need, it does satisfy a need and want. Now we're here at the thing now, but we could also one day have our own tent city or our own form of accommodation that this union could provide. And it could be located in Chinatown because it makes good sense for the homeless people to have a place where they can go. So anyway, I just wanted to put an appeal out for the people that to come down and kick it with us during the nights down here at the flagpole, and bring some of your extra tents, bring your blankets, and thank you for any help that you can provide.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Van. Hey, Silas here mentioned, that we get ridiculed for having rats. Guess what? There's rats over here at City Hall. We're here every day. They're scurrying around. So what does that mean? Should we be cleaning this place up? Let's go ahead and tear it down.
Okay. Hi. I'm one of the commissioners in Monterey County, and I think that's what all of the commissioners' jobs are. We're all working to try to bring solutions, but we're not working hard enough, because we need to look at people as members of our community, whether they're homeless, whether they are in school, whatever it is. We have a community here, and we need to embrace the community, and we need to help each other. So I'm out here to support what needs to be done in order to provide safe and adequate shelter for the homeless. We've been looking at this for far too long, far too many years. And, people get upset when you start supporting a cause that is worthy of being supported. But we need to bring attention to the fact that people don't need to be pushed out of their communities, passed over, treated as though they're not important. Every life that is born is important. We have people out here with all kinds of skills and talents that we need to be looking at, and it's not just the ones who who have a status in the community. It's not just the people who have good jobs and good schooling and can provide all the luxuries of life. There is a reason for every person, and I support that. And I hope that we can work together to bring solutions, that all of the county and all of the commissioners and everybody who's in a position can just come together and we provide solutions.
Fantastic. All right. Okay. Thank you, LeVonne. Current city council member, you want to say something? Hey, it's been 90 days, Mr. Mayor. Are you going to quit doing the sweeps now that you have no administrative procedure in place? You got no placement. Got no database going every day. Yeah. Hey, so it's been 90 days and we only got 6 people housed and we're doing administrative.
You've been talking to the lady at the Victory Mission or down at Dorothy's. It was made you that promise.
Yeah, Joe made a commitment
Have you been talking
and
to her? You might
it's-
want to go interview her.
Well, it's a collaboration between city, county, and service providers.
Well,
all
I
of them.
certainly appreciate that, sir.
Yeah.
Well, you make sure you talk to her.
So why
Not
are
a
we
problem.
doing sweeps? Why are we doing sweeps if you can't get the administrative procedure to work right?
Because that's our obligation. So
Your
thank you.
obligation to wipe people out, although you're being illegal, because you are not
Ken said
following
meeting
your own
up with
law.
me. Him hollering at me is not illegal.
Wow.
And bringing my opponent to holler at me is rather silly.
Mayor Gunter, one
We're all happy, Joe.
Okay. Uh oh. Yeah. Yeah. I ain't worried about it. We already know where we're at with that. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. All right. Well.
What we want to happen here, realistically, without a bunch of arguing back and forth, is the more realistic, visible, reasonable accommodation. It's 90 days and what, 6 people placed in housing through Dorothy's. You know what I mean? This is real. We're actually being affected by what's going on. And we don't know how to, short of getting on our knees and stuff like that. We're not going to do that. Is short of doing that. Appealing to. It's okay.
Go ahead.
Appealing to people who are in official positions, yourself, sir. I personally extended invitations for officials to come down in the areas that were mentioned that we were surrounded by rats and living in feces and stuff like that. No one took the time to come down and stuff like that. You know what I mean? We took the time to bring up to standard many of the areas down there that were mentioned with respect to the ordinance that put things in jeopardy. Like vehicles, emergency vehicles getting through and stuff like that. We came up to standard there and then extended invitations for people to come down. Nobody did that. We took responsibility for what was being said about us, how we were being affecting the community in a negative way. Nobody took the time to come and see. This is like, wow, we going out, we're cutting wood, wow, I'm cutting wood and ain't nobody helping me. You know what I mean? That's hard work.
Even that Friday before, the fire truck came in and did a test. They connected themselves with that fire hydrant, so they knew it was passable.
Yeah.
They knew it was passable.
Yeah.
Where do you expect these people to go after all these sweeps? And how do you expect them to pay their tickets, $200 tickets?
I know that
belongings?
Mr. White's been going to the Board of Supervisors, and I don't know what the results of those meetings have been. I notice he takes great joy in coming and hollering at me when I'm going off to a meeting, and that's rather tragic. And Mr. Amit here, who's running for office, who now has realized we have a homeless situation, has all of a sudden appeared to start dealing with the
Yelling at
homeless.
your predecessor.
Okay.
A meeting?
Are we gonna have a meeting? Are we gonna be able to set up a meeting?
Yeah. All right. Well, because I want to hear from a couple more people still. Yep. So, where's our? Yep. Here we go. He's going to give a non-answer no matter what. Yep. Okay. So, yeah, the mayor candidate has been hot on this, making it a central issue of Salinas about homelessness and taking care of people. And he just now said, well, he just woke up to it. Been doing it for 5 years already, man. Actually, kind of spurned the issue. So, looks like the mayor has attracted his own little following, and hopefully we're all coming back. All right, so I got 2 more people to talk still, and oh sure, I'll believe it when I'm in his office. Okay, yeah, please, current City Council Member Jose Castaneda.
Yes.
Chair real quick, the bench. Okay. All right, Joe, what do you got to say?
We'll get it.
Yeah. We're getting swept up without justification here. We're not even being legal. Let me make sure this is up. It is. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're almost done.
All right, here we go, guys.
Couple more people to go.
Okay.
I wanted to give thanks to the Monterey County as well as Santa Cruz, to the Homeless Union, also to the resilience of every person that has been out here for the last 90 days. Wes White, the group here, Van Gresham, Jessica. We got everyone out here, William, Silas, everyone out there, and also the folks that are not here with us, but they're here in spirits with us as well today. Want to let it be known that in the last 90 days, we have not seen much effort from the city of Salinas. I think that's appalling. I think we've seen more effort for minimal things that don't make much of a difference in the city. The money is not the justification. The money is there. We just need to make sure that we start getting a stronger voice of the marginalized in this city. Chinatown is one of many communities that are going through many struggles here in this $9 billion. And I say that $9 billion, the letter B as in boy. When you have an agriculture industry that can immediately eradicate poverty, not only in this city, which is the largest city in the county, but in the entire county in itself, then we know that we're dealing with folks that don't have us in mind. They don't have us in their hearts, and we're not the first thing they think of when they wake up here in this city. As you can see what happened with the mayor, if he was more eager and more willing to stand foot with the community here, especially what has been happening in the last 90 days and beyond, we would have had a date and time to meet with him right now in his office. Should have canceled his lunch appointment of out-of-town folks coming in. But because we're talking about economics, which makes much more of a bigger difference, just like what has happened historically in this city, and John Steinbeck has written about that, which got him ousted out of here for exploiting the truth. We're going to have to start increasing our actions. And I'm not talking about doing anything outside of the law. I'm saying simple representation. In the next 30 to 60 days, this city council, the majority of the city council is going to be up for re-election, and they're going to want your signature to nominate them to run for re-election. We have a mayor and 3 council members that are up. That's 4 people, 4 members out of a 7-member council, which is the majority. And with the majority, we can actually make a big difference of changing policy, especially with housing. We need housing and not handcuffs. And we need housing, and we need it now. And we have to stand firm with one another, shoulder by shoulder here. We have to stand with one another. When I'm tired, I need you guys to come and help me and pick me up. And when you're tired, I come and help you and pick you up as well. And we need to go ahead and be at the city council, not only on Tuesdays, but we just start making the point now at every day that we wait at the mayor's office. Let him know we are here and we are not leaving. And we are here and we are waiting for answers. The homeless shelter has been closed down, yet we're opening up dog parks. You literally have to really understand what has been happening with this money historically again. It's profits over people. And what you're going to see here in the next 30 to 60 days, you're going to see the most absurd dog and pony show you can think of. And that's people saying, we're making a difference in the city. We're making a difference in homeless lives, especially in Chinatown. Folks, I need you guys to see through that. Don't buy it, especially with what's going on with the media. It's one-sided. And I need you guys to spread the truth and let families and friends and neighbors know what the true issues, the true real issues are of this city. And folks, we need to step in that city hall and we take over the seats and let them know, Mayor, we will not be moved. Enough is enough. Housing, not handcuffs. And we need to make sure that we as individuals come together under the Homeless Union umbrella and start leveraging with our brothers and sisters as well. And with that collective voice, we let it be known that the next election that's coming up here, which is very soon, we'll have people that represent our true voices. And if not, then we ourselves have to elect people, either ourselves or other people that are like-minded. This cannot happen for another 4 years anymore. So thank you for your time. God bless you. And I look forward to joining you guys in solidarity again for the next council meeting. Thank you.
Give it to
You want to say something?
Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, my name is Anthony Prince. As you may or may not know, I've been out here fighting alongside the members of the Homeless Union. I'm proud to be the attorney that represents the Homeless Union. And as most people know, this union has made history. The people standing in back of me have made history just by forming up their ranks. The city was able to destroy the Chinatown homeless encampment, but what they were not able to do was to destroy the fighting spirit of these leaders. No war can be fought and won without leaders. Organizing the leaders is the first order of business, and it is a proud moment for us to be gathering here 3 months after the city brought 25 police, private security, city contractors, private contractors, and so-called homeless service providers into Chinatown, cordoned off the community, and armed and staged what can only be called a paramilitary operation to displace 200, actually closer to 300 men, women, and children out of that community. The leadership here is testament to the fact that you can take whatever repressive measures you wish to take, but you cannot stamp out a movement. And what we're talking about here in Salinas is not just a one-time action, not just this fight or that fight, but the beginnings of an organized, conscious, revolutionary movement. And when I say revolutionary, I mean it in the sense that Dr. Martin Luther King defined himself as a revolutionary, to turn things upside down so that there are no more poor, so that the 1% is not at the top but is at the bottom, and the majority of people have the food, the clothing, the shelter, the necessities of life to which they are entitled. Let's not forget that everything of value in this society was built by the people behind me and the millions more members of the American working class. The buildings, the parks, the trees, the streets, the sidewalks, the businesses, the wealth. Councilman Castaneda pointed out $9 billion is the value of agribusiness in this valley. Who created that wealth? Who created that wealth? There are people on the streets, the homeless streets of Salinas, who created that wealth. Farm workers injured and poisoned on the job, put out of work by new technology. They're amongst the ranks of the homeless. You know who else is amongst the ranks of the homeless? The victims of domestic violence. We're seeing across this country an explosion in domestic violence. It's a very sad commentary. By definition, a woman who has fled a domestic violence situation is considered to be a homeless person by definition. We have children. The fastest growing segment of the homeless in the United States are women and children. So these are the type of people that were kicked out of Chinatown on March 23rd, without any accommodations or preparations made by the city of Salinas to provide for their housing. Now, this 90-day anniversary is important because the so-called homeless service providers came out on that day. We were all there. I know I was there. And we were told that within 90 days, 200 people would be housed. But I read in the paper yesterday that Jill Allen admitted that she only made that promise in order to calm the crowd, in order to calm people down. But we're not here to be calmed down, are we? No. How can you be calm? How can you be calm when you have people dying from exposure in the streets of America? How can you be calm when 1 out of every 5 people in the United States is paying close to 70% of their income for housing? How can you be calm? How can you be calm when you have children going to bed hungry because their parents had to scrape the necessary funds together to pay the rent? It is not just about the homeless. It's not just about the people you see on the street. It's about millions of Americans, millions of people in this country who are not just one step away, they're a half step away from becoming homeless themselves. So what we're doing here is the first step in what I believe will be an historic movement. Every historic movement starts out small, right? It starts out with a small group of dedicated people. The most important thing is for that small group of leaders, of dedicated people, to come up with a plan of how we're going to step by step move forward and build this movement. We have some of the most intelligent, strategic thinkers in the city of Salinas sitting right here in front of City Hall today. The real leaders are not sitting in that city council, with the exception of Councilman Castaneda, who's the only leader in that body, the only genuine leader. But the true leaders of the city of Salinas are seated behind me. Because when they take up for the struggle of the homeless, they're taking up for the struggle of all poor people. All poor people. All people who are facing unemployment, who are facing inequality, who are facing a government, not just a local government, but a federal government, which would much rather spend billions and billions of dollars to make war and pay the military and to line their own pockets and provide corporate welfare instead of building housing for people in the United States of America. Am I right about that? Absolutely. So it isn't just a local fight. It's a national fight. It's an international fight. So let's not forget the place, the role that we occupy. The most important place to be on a Friday afternoon in the city of Salinas is at the meeting of the Homeless Union every Friday at 2 o'clock. And you guys have continued to meet. Sometimes you get a full house, sometimes you get a smaller number. But the most important thing is to continue to be consistent, to continue to have those meetings and debate amongst ourselves, debate what's the next step forward. Not just let's do this, let's do that, but let's figure out what our enemies are going to do. Not just confront Mr. Joe Gunter as he walks by, but put together a battle plan that's going to ensure victory ultimately in this fight. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, that's the key. That's the key. That's right. 23 Soledad Street every Friday at 2 o'clock. That's the place to be, whether you're homeless or whether you are still in a home, whether you are working or not working, whether you're a member of the Homeless Union or a supporter of the Homeless Union, you're welcome at those meetings. The last thing I'll say is that as the attorney for the Homeless Union, for the last 3 months, I have been working diligently to try to put together a new legal team. As you know, we fought a hard-fought battle to stop that first ordinance from continuing as law, and we won that battle. We won that battle. The city of Salinas repealed that ordinance that they enacted, that they introduced in September of last year. They repealed that ordinance because of the fight we put up and because of the federal lawsuit that we filed. But we weren't satisfied with that, were we? Because no sooner did they enact the new ordinance, they declared the entirety of Chinatown to be a risk to public health and safety. And I will tell you, and I am not afraid to say it, that I believe it was a travesty of justice for 4 subsequent federal court opinions to deny the relief that we were seeking to stop the city from taking down that Chinatown homeless encampment. The evidence that was submitted to the district court by the city of Salinas was factually inaccurate and in some cases willfully misleading. Willfully misleading. We confronted them with the evidence. We still could not get justice. But that's okay, because I like to tell people, I practice in 2 courts. I practice in that federal court or in that state court, in those big fancy buildings with a judge sitting high up on a big podium. But there's another court, and we're all members of that court, and I think it's the most important court, and that's the court of public opinion. So we're taking our fight into that court just as we continue to fight in the federal and in the state courts. So I've spoken too long, I'll quit, but I'm with you guys. Let's keep the fight up, right? All right.
Okay, so let's think about the intention of where this ordinance came from. They've wanted people out of Chinatown the whole time. That's never changed. There was an incident where some residents threw bags of poo over the fence to a property owner, and that property owner came down here to City Hall and said, I want it done. You got to get them out of there. They're ruining everything. We've got a revitalization plan. We want new buildings. We got Mid-Penn coming in. So let's get them. Let's make it happen. If we get rid of everybody around here, then we'll make some business. Let's make some revenue. Taylor Farms is right here, just right across the street. Go 4 or 5 floors up and you can see Chinatown from there. That's another reason they get out of town business. People come in, they go, well, you got to clean up your town first before you want my business in here. So that's been another reason to do it. The city came up with, we spent over $2 million helping the homeless, helping, as in buying buildings, as in doing cleanups, $400,000 worth of cleanups. Only $380,000 was actually going through emergency service grant and the warming shelter. Everything else was for buildings that are either vacant, not even broke ground yet, and one that's been supposed to have been open for over a year now. So all of these things are about business, revenue. It's not about helping people. We're still pushing people out. We have this ordinance now in place to push people out. The whole point of this ordinance is to push people out of the city. They even said that directly. We want you guys out of city limits. We don't care where you go as long as you go somewhere else outside of city limits. That's all that matters to them. They're people. You're dealing with paper. That's one thing. You start messing with people's lives, I'm going to get involved, and there's a lot of other people getting involved too.
What about the health center?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. The health center was supposed to open over a year ago, and they're still dragging their feet on that. So another new challenge. Okay, we couldn't do 200 in 90 days. I'll give you a quarter of that. Only 50 people in 5 months, almost double the time. New challenge between the city, the county, and the service providers. Make it happen. Otherwise, stop the sweeps, because you're hurting people and you're allowing people to get hurt. McHome, which is part of the interim. Dorothy's Place, which is also part of the HMIS database. One of these people have to be licensed to be able to go down to within 72 business hours as part of their administrative procedure. They're supposed to go down to the site that gets posted and go person to person, tent to tent, and assess them, connect them with services as per their ordinance, which means connecting them with their HMIS database. So then they can be housed somewhere within this county. We've got plenty of heart in this community. We've got plenty of service providers in this community. They're pretty well stuck at capacity. They're doing all they can do. There's not enough money for it, and they're actually fighting over the same money. So it's unfortunate. We needed, like somebody else said, we need to work in a tandem rather than on a parallel plane. So we need to get these sweeps stopped because nobody's doing their job. You can't just go ahead and sweep people if you still got that administrative procedure to get done. If you're not connecting with services, which was the whole point of that ordinance. Oh, well, we're going to connect some services, so it's okay. If you ain't doing it, you can't do the sweeps either. Stop it.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
What happened? When the mayor asked about the meeting, or what you saw?
Told you guys came by.
And then? What did he say when he was walking that way?
Which way?
Someday where? Someday never?
Oh.
See?
Somebody else joked about that.
Oh, no, it was him that said it.
No, we went that way. No, it's office.
Yep. Back corner.
All
right.
Well, smarter than I am.
Thank you.
We can put that one on the cardboard too.
I'll give you his phone number.
Yeah, make sure he gets real
So was that somebody who was part of the staff of the mayor or the city?
No idea.
Think someday never?
We'll put it in the cardboard now. Joe says someday never.
Yeah, right?
We'll be back.
That's the kind of promise we've been getting from the start.
Yeah, but he just, I think